into the dialogue with Brian Keith, yours truly. And I'm going to jump right into the topic today. I'm sure probably the title itself has caused some uproar. But so back in 2011, November, I read an article pertaining to Kris Jenner. And if you don't know who she is Kim Kardashian's mother. And she was on the Good Morning America show, and during that interview she basically made a derogatory statement as such about Kris Humphries, who was married to her daughter for 72 days. He basically was asking for his wedding ring back that was worth $2 million. And she made the statement that she hated an Indian giver. It was a gift, let her daughter keep it. That sparked a huge outrage, especially among the Native American community. The National Congress of American Indians, actually wrote, they were pretty furious over the statement, and they actually wrote that these words were wrong and they were hurtful. So that kind of sparked me to raise an eyebrow, because previous to reading that article, I had read an article which came out in August of 2011 about some actions that have continued some injustices against people in general, specifically the African American people of the United States. So I'm dedicating this one as like a Black History Month issue or episode, but because I think it's pertinent. It has some historical context to it. It has context for today. So let's get into some more meat. Let's go back for a little bit. Most people that I talked to after reading both of these articles were not aware that the Native Americans were slave owners. And the history of the African American slavery in the Indian Territory basically began around the 1830s. There were 5 Southern Indian societies: the Cherokee, the Choctaw, the Chickasaw, the Creek, and the Seminole. And they began enslaving blacks on their territory and also purchasing African Americans as slaves. Now, they took these slaves with them when the United States federal government removed the nations from the southern states within the 1840s. Now, by the Civil War, African Americans made up approximately 14% of the population within the Indian Territory. In 1861, after the outbreak of the Civil War, leaders from each of the nations entered treaties with the Confederacy. So that's my second point that most people are not aware of, and these facts are not in our history books, that the Indians actually fought for and sided with the South. At the end of the Civil War, the United States negotiated treaties with each of the 5 Southern Indian nations. The treaty in 1866 provided basically an abolition of slavery, and it extended citizenship rights to those freed slaves. Now, this included land rights. Now, just like with the United States, African Americans, the freedmen, they had difficulties claiming these rights, basically. Now, in 1898, the Curtis Act dissolved the 5 nations, and both Indians and blacks were moved to what is now known as the state of Oklahoma. That's the historical context. Let's bring it forward. In August, as I mentioned, of 2011, the Cherokee Supreme Court ruled in favor of a 2007 vote to amend the Cherokee Constitution that would revoke the citizenship rights of the black members. Now, this ruling, it denied the descendants of Cherokee-held slaves the benefits that were inclusive to those people who were a part of the tribe. And those benefits included free health care, education, voting, and housing rights. And it's really strange that they would make this decision, because many of these slaves had a very intimate history with the tribe. They even walked the Trail of Tears with their Indian masters. Now, a point to note here: the Cherokee Indians, the Cherokee Nation, receives an estimated $300 million in federal funds annually, plus they also have the gaming rights. The BIA, the Bureau of Indian Affairs, for the United States government has stepped in since this has gone down and pressured the Cherokee Nation to abide by the 1866 treaty. The United States Department of Housing and Urban Development is withholding a $33 million disbursement to the tribe due to this controversy. The principal acting chief of the tribe, Joe Crittenden, said in a statement that the Cherokee Nation will not be governed by the BIA, or basically by the Treaty of 1866. So I have some questions. Those are the bare facts. So I have some questions that I want to, ask and then get your feedback from. Should the Cherokee Nation be held to the treaty that they signed in 1866? And that treaty afforded those rights to those freedmen. Should the Treaty of 1898, which allows for the $300 million annual payout and gaming rights, be nullified? Since in theory, they're in violation of another treaty. So if you're not going to, stand by this one treaty, why should, this other treaty that you've signed be in effect as well? Why is there not an outrage over these actions, yet we are in an uproar about the words that Chris Jenner spoke? Nobody has spoke about the injustice that's being displayed here by the Cherokee Nation. Why have we not heard from any of our African American leaders? I've not heard anything from Reverend Jesse Jackson, Reverend Al Sharpton, Elijah Cummings, or anyone else. There was one legislator from California who's no longer part of the legislative body, who actually came out in 2007 and helped to block that vote at that particular time by the district court of the Cherokee Nation, and they upheld the lawsuit by the freedmen, which was subsequently nullified and knocked down by the Supreme Court of the Cherokee Nation. And then the last question I have: why is restitution for African Americans such a politically charged and divisive topic in our country, and no one says a word about the restitution that's being given to the Native Americans? And in this particular case, the Cherokee Nation is receiving $300 million annually from the United States government. So let me know what you think. I crammed a whole lot of information in a short amount of time, but hopefully if you need to rewind and go back and all those types of things, please do. Give me your thoughts. Okay, while you're pondering all those questions, I'm going to eat me a little snack, of course. You know how I do. If you want to hit me up, the dialoguewbk@gmail.com, or you can hit me up on YouTube or Facebook with any comments, questions, and any topic ideas that you have. As always, be easy, be safe. I'm out. Peace.